hear everything okay?
We can.
Okay, get myself set up. All right.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Carrie Myers, and my mission is to empower every educator. The educational system is in crisis, with burned out educators exiting the profession, leaving behind a staggering number of vacancies, in addition to a low pool of potential teachers entering certification programs. This is expensive for districts, has a direct impact on the quality of education in the classrooms, and leaves behind a community suffering from the loss of experienced teachers. Teachers want to stay in the classroom, and my business, Empowering Educator, provides content, coaching, and community centered around fulfillment, joy, and curiosity. Through self-paced and guided programming that works within the confines of a teacher's schedule, educators can engage individually or in communities in a way that meets their personal and professional needs. Our mission is to aid in birthing a new educational model that empowers teacher self-care, emotional and physical wellness, rekindling joy, and reinvigorating their passion for teaching. Our vision is to be the premier choice of independent middle schools for holistic, technologically integrative, multidisciplinary, and deeply supportive educator personal and professional development for optimum wellness. Curiosity, empathy, and connection are the values that drive our mission and vision. Our goal is to forge a new market at the intersection of workplace wellness and professional development, both of which are thriving markets. Our initial target market will focus on empowering middle school educators at independent schools in the state of California. They have the flexibility and funds to invest in their faculty, which in turn will benefit the next generation of leaders who attend these schools. Schools invest a monthly fee per educator that encompasses access to online resources and community, as well as virtual coaching sessions that will be available throughout the duration of the contract. Most professional development revolves around intellectual wellness through conferences and workshops. Workplace wellness incentives tend to focus on physical wellness, offering memberships to gyms and yoga studios to combat the stress of the job. Empowering Educator approaches the whole educator and includes programming around emotional, spiritual, and social wellness as well. This creates a holistic approach that integrates all aspects of an educator as they balance their professional and personal responsibilities. I am uniquely qualified to be at the forefront of this revolution with my professional experience in public and independent middle and high schools, and personal experience of burnout while teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic. I know what educators are going through, which has led me to leaving the classroom after 13 years and launching this business with the support of mentors, colleagues, contractors, friends, and family. Empowering Educator plans to grow exponentially over the next 3 years, expanding beyond our initial market and reaching educators all over through targeted expansion in funding, team building, media presence, and marketing. We are confident that with funding to bring on experienced full-time staff, we will be able to grow this movement. This model of empowerment is based on the monthly investment of schools in the well-being of their faculty. They will retain qualified educators who have a positive impact on the quality of instruction and relationships within school environments. Schools will benefit from a workplace wellness and professional development offering that enables teachers to feel supported to stay in the classroom and excel at their vocation. We are already in program development and are asking for an initial investment in the startup costs of getting this business to expand in a way that will see a return on investment within 2 years or less. This funding will propel Empowering Educator forward on the timeline of reaching a minimum of 60 educators by year 3. We know that a single drop creates a ripple effect that extends beyond our limited range. This single drop is the investment in the care of our educators. The goal is that when educators center their own well-being, they will model fulfillment and balance for their colleagues, administrators, students, and their parents. This shift in mindset around prioritizing self-care is the beginning of a powerful ripple effect that centers wellness in classrooms, school communities, families, and societies at large. Thank you for your support of Empowering Educator.
Excellent. Give her a give. And 5:05, sister, 5:05 on the time clock. All right, whoever'd like to go first.
I'll go first. Carrie, I saw your presentation. In fact, I recently watched a presentation you did in September for 1 million cups, and you told me that it had changed. And I just wanted to let you know that I did notice the changes. And one of the big ones seems like you've really zeroed in on a more on a target market, on a more specific target market. So congratulations on that. I thought that was well done. My question is, how far can you go without getting anyone to invest money in you?
Well, so far, like I said, I'm already in product development. So I have a contract with a school and have done a pilot program over the last 3 months. And I am continually reaching out to individual schools on a monthly basis. So it is possible that without an initial investment, I can just get contracts and be able to support myself and then eventually grow in a way that allows me to bring on more support.
Mm-hmm. Have you considered a small business loan at all?
I have. I think that with this next round of reaching out to schools, if I don't get the return that I'm hoping for, then that might be the next step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like since your business doesn't have a huge capital investment to get started, you don't have to pay rent on a building or things like that, that you might be able to bootstrap it rather successfully. And that could potentially be a better for you long run if you don't have to take out a loan or repay some kind of investment. That's just my opinion.
No, thank you for that insight. That is the goal, obviously, and we'll see what happens.
So good job.
Thank you.
Hi, Carrie. How are you?
Great. Thanks, Danielle.
Good, good. Great information. I had a couple questions about the networks that you're looking to get into. So I wanted to find out who have you looked into who your current partners could be or proposed partners could be for your organization?
In terms of who I would work with on the school level or like with the business?
Both, actually. So in school levels, who would be, I guess, the people who you would want to talk to first to kind of get your foot in the door? And then in the business level, like, have you essentially, chosen your power team to help your organization move forward?
Sure. So at the school level, I'm generally reaching out to either presidents or directors of the schools, heads of schools, to appeal to their desire to retain their teachers, happy, fulfilled teachers in the classroom. I also have reached out to directors of teaching and learning, so people who deal with professional development, as well as counselors, because again, I think that sort of leads into the second part of your question, which is that eventually I would love to bring on different specialists, whether they're psychologists or yoga practitioners, mindfulness practitioners, to be able to bring in more specific integrated support for teachers who would need coaching in maybe particular areas. I also would love to add on instructional coaching. So rather than just doing the personal growth, saying these are practical tools for how you can structure your classroom in a way that is sustainable.
Okay, great. That's a great holistic way to look at multiple problems that you're solving from just one introduction. The other thing is are you looking at like private schools and or board of directors like outside of traditional school districts, or are you looking for public and private partnerships?
Right now, it's independent schools. So I started with the California Association of Independent Schools list, and I'm also looking into some of the diocesan schools because the school that I'm working with in San Diego, virtually, they are part of the greater diocese of San Diego. Eventually, I would love to move into the public school system. Again, just being one person, I know my limits. Like as a teacher, I was able to handle 60 students at a time. So that was sort of my threshold for what I thought I could handle with educators. But yes, I mean, I'm thinking big, long term. It's just a matter of the baby steps to get there.
Understandable. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Carrie. Thank you for your presentation. I just had a really quick question. Certain schools, whether independent or not, like they have different like qualifications. Because like a lot of school districts, they'll have, those independent, like, home study, type of programs and those types of things. Have you went through the application processes for some of them already?
Application in what sense?
Well, a lot of times when you are looking to, take on, like kind of like a new role or new type of development, there's sometimes like an application process that you kind of have to like make sure that you've fulfilled their requirements to be able to, do business with them and those types of things. Have you done that already?
I guess I'm not sure if this is going to answer your question, but I mean, so I've started with outreach. I am established as a LLC, and I'm basically just saying like these are the services that I offer, and if you would like to engage with me, let's get to know each other, kind of see what your school community has to offer, what I might be able to offer in terms of support there. In terms of homeschools, I hadn't considered that because I'm really focusing on the communities of teachers, and homeschooling is a much more isolated sort of offering. So I'm definitely trying to keep it within a school community because that shift in one classroom radiates out within the community, which I don't think I would have as tangible an understanding of how that will impact it if it's in sort of those isolated pockets.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Carrie. Thank you for presenting. Hi. Okay, so you mentioned, so my question is on the business development side of things, of course. So you said that when you do approach organizations, you're talking with, you said like the principal, or who was it?
So it can be either a president of the board, a president of the school, a head of school. So they're kind of like the CEOs of independent schools.
Got it. Okay. And so can you walk me through the sort of like that experience for that, like for them? So for example, what's that conversation like whenever you're talking to them?
Sure. So with the school that I'm currently working with, it was a very dear friend of mine who I used to work with for 6 years. And she basically came to her school president and said, we need to bring Carrie on board because we're all burned out. And I led them through a group coaching session. So I showed them what it would be like to envision a well faculty, what it would look like for your teachers to be fulfilled, and kind of showed them the different ways in which I approached wellness and bringing it on board, because I feel like when you actually see it, then you know what I'm offering, because it's kind of hard to visualize. People, when you think about coaching, you kind of think of like a one-on-one, potentially kind of a therapist role, but coaching is much more about discovering your own innate talents to do something, or your own innate skills that you need to sort of brush off. And so that's the process that I led them through, to be like, hey, this is important because your teachers need this. So let me show you how we can go about doing this.
And what was the response for that? I mean, obviously they hired you, right? But what did the looks on their faces, what did their faces look like? What was their body language saying? All that kind of stuff.
I mean, so this gentleman in particular was like, if it works for the teachers and if the teachers are saying they need it, like that's good enough for me. So he was very generous. And he also was the type of person who said, if you need support also on the business side, please use me as a resource. So I think I just sort of, I found a gem, with with this first opportunity. And I'm just really hopeful and optimistic that it's going to expand.
Yeah, great. So for what it's worth, in my experience of business development, when like what you did was you kind of you hit on a sales process that actually works really well, which is, you know, showing people what the results that they're going to get like ahead of time. And however you do that is, and you know, you're hitting that on an emotional level and a functional level for those folks at the same time, right? And you're able to, if you were able to do that, then you know, hey, wait a minute, this works. And usually I think in the coaching industry, it's always, you know, free webinar, free try before you buy, first taste is free kind of thing, right? Like, so that people can experience what you're offering, and you know, that sort of kind of, you know, gets the ball rolling. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, I think that once people actually see, because I kind of have a whimsical approach to it, and the way I provide content, it's not just like me talking at you for an hour. I'm using what I know from how people learn, and you know, the how the brain learns, and I'm applying that to wellness. So how do you integrate wellness in 1 minute a day, 5 minutes a day, and then just, you know, integrate those tiny little steps towards feeling like a more fulfilled human being, because as teachers, we're not often considered a whole human being.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very well done, Carrie. So there was